Hi guys, this is Joe Kelly. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about when you're out of character and what you can do about that. So usually that can happen when you're getting an audition or you're getting maybe the sides and you're reading the character description and you're like, why are they asking me to audition for this? Or maybe even better or worse, I'm not sure, you might be getting that's the audition and you might be doing great at this audition and then you have the callback for it, and I've heard actors doubt themselves being able to be the character, all the way to the last level, thinking why do they like me? I It's not me. So in a way, like, you're refusing your capacity, or you're refusing your capacity to be the character in a way, right? So another way of experiencing this might be like really when you're preparing the role itself and you kind of have an idea of what the character is, but you can't really get to it in an authentic and in a deep way. And so that can be troubling too. Like, what they are in a way, but you don't really understand why and how you would possibly get to that place. And then the third version is you're filming, or you're in the audition, or you're doing your tape and you have some impulses, but you feel like you can't go for them because you have an impression that the character is something different. So in a way, you're caging your instinct because you feel the character is different than what your instrument is naturally taking you towards. And of course, that can be very frustrating because you might spend a lot of your time looking for jobs, and you finally have a job or you finally have an audition, and then you're not able to get in the zone. You're not able to really experience this character. You're not able to feel the feels, to really be in the exciting part of acting, which is to transform yourself. So it can be really, really frustrating when you're feeling out of character, whether that's from the beginning, in the middle of the process, or just when you're filming and it's like, I can't go for everything I want because I think I should go in another direction, right? And so what I would like for us to do today is to really actually look at the reason why you might be experiencing this, which might not be what you think. So you're thinking some characters are too different or complex in a way that I will never be able to understand them, and that's just a fact, and it's what it is. Like, I'll be good for some characters, but not for all of them. And what I would like to look at today is actually why you're experiencing that. And it's not because you have a major difference or a major gap with some characters. What's actually happening is that you're coming to your character in your creative process from a result perspective. So you have an idea of what the character looks like, or what he behaves like, or what she or he behaves like, and therefore you're working from a place of result. So you're thinking, it should be this way. My character is that way, so I should be going in that direction. Or there's only one way that this character would be, so I can't take a tangent to that. Or sometimes I hear actors say like this, well, that's wrong for the character. It can't work for the character. So you're like excluding yourself and cutting yourself out of the whole world of possibilities because you really think the character can only be one way, and there's a good or bad, or right or wrong. So you're isolating yourself from the wholeness and the humanity of the character. And then I'd like to take a deeper cut and look at why you're doing that. And the reason you're doing that, of course, is because you've been conditioned to do and to behave and to think what authority tells you to do and to behave and to think and to feel, right? We've all been raised to feel a certain way, to be a certain way, to behave a certain way, to think a certain way. And an authority, our parents or school or the culture, has always told us how to do that. And so that's the way we've been wired, meaning our programming, our pipes, our education has built literally some pipes, some cables in our system that says, well, when a situation happens, look for the external solution, because you're not supposed to check in with yourself. You're supposed to ask the people who know better than you. Your parents know better than you. Your school teachers know better than you. Culture knows better than you. There is a right or a wrong. You have to behave within what is accepted. You can't just check in with yourself and go, oh, here's a situation or a challenge or um, an obstacle. What would I like to do? No, that's not how we're trained. That's not how we're programmed. That's not how we're raised or conditioned or educated. We are raised to be faced with a situation, whatever that is, and ask someone who knows better what we're supposed to do, right? So you recognize in there when you were little and you were feeling an emotion, your parents would tell you, well, no, don't cry. Stop crying or stop being angry, right? So they initially, right from the get-go, told you don't feel your system. Don't feel your guidance system. Listen to me. I'm going to tell you what to feel. And then you get to school and they tell you what to think. And there's also consequences. If you're not behaving and thinking like they teach you to behave and to think, you'll be punished. You'll be excluded. You won't have any friends. You'll be humiliated. You'll have bad grades. You'll have to stay back, etc., etc. And then this culture, right, on a more global and macro perspective. So if you're raised in a system like that, which, all of us are, most of the big majority of us are, well, then you're never going to be faced with a situation, in this case, oh, here comes a new character that's foreign to me, and I don't know what that's like. So instead of letting yourself feel and drop in and experience and actually discover what that would feel like for you to be in those circumstances that the character is in, well, you can't do that because your pipes won't allow you to do that. Your pipes go straight to problem or challenge situation. Okay, let's ask what's right, what's good, what's better. Let's ask authority. And if authority is not there, I'm going to scan through my brain and think, what's the best way to do? Because there is a right and a wrong. There is a good and a bad. So this character must be something. So I must go there. And if you do that, of course, then there is no way that you can possibly really connect, experience, and understand your character on a visceral way. Because guess what? The character doesn't exist, right? The character is you. So what your job opportunity really is for you to create the experience for yourself. That's the creative process. It's really to have a situation, to let yourself feel it, and to let yourself explore how it would be for you. That's your creative process as an actor. It's actually the creative process for life. But we haven't been raised to live our lives in a creative way. Like, oh, I'm crying. Oh, how does that feel for me? Oh, and how do I experience that? And how do I want to continue that? Or when am I done crying and I want to switch to something else? That's creating your life. We haven't been raised to create our life. We've been raised to listen to what we're told and to do exactly as we're told. If not, we're punished and excluded and not loved, right? So I hope that you're starting to see what's happening when you're out of character. It's not really that you're out. It's just that your system, your cables, your pipes have been shaped to not check in with you. So in a way, you have no capacity to connect with how it feels for you on a visceral way. You have no capacity to listen to, oh, this character seems like it's blue. Where is that in me? Where do I have? Because you weren't encouraged to check in with you. You weren't encouraged to feel. You were encouraged to do the opposite. You weren't encouraged to follow your impulses. Never. You were repressed from your impulses. You were asked to not be impulsive. You were asked to be like the others. You were asked to behave, listen, and do what you're told, right? So whenever you're at odds like that with the character, it really is a question of starting to realize that if you have no access to your character in an authentic, deep, and instinctive way, it's not because they're too different. It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's just because you have an opportunity, which is to make sure that you're able to check in with yourself in a much deeper way and in a way that you haven't been raised. And you can take that back. In the work that we do in the reset journey, what we actually do is help actors really unlearn the conditioning, undo like the cage that you're stuck in so that you can progressively go back to that natural self that you are, that childlike self that you are, so that you can finally feel what you feel, experience what you experience within the character circumstances, and then discover how you show up as them and not decide in advance. Okay? And as you do that, then it becomes true life. Then it becomes really organic and creative and unique. And that's how you don't actually compete with anyone anymore. If you come from that place, you're very distinct, you're very different, and only you could do it that way, right? So, okay, I hope this makes sense, guys. If it does and you have any questions, let us know. My team will get your messages, or myself. And if you're interested in this work, you can also type reset in the comments. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to the waitlist to do this work, so that you can sign up to the waitlist, and we'll send you some free content in the meantime and some information, so that you can dive a little deeper into the work we do. All right. Thank you, guys. Again, I'll share the link to the waitlist. If you have any questions, let us know. And yeah, that's it. Okay. Bye for now.